Welcome to a journey through one of the most intriguing geographic enigmas on our planet. Imagine an entire continent, vast like an ocean of land, but with only a fraction of its surface truly inhabited. This is the mystery we are going to unravel today. Why 95% of Australia, the land of kangaroos and the outback, remains practically uninhabited. Flying over Australia, you are met with a surprising sight: miles and miles of red land, endless deserts, and a coastline that seems... It's hard to believe this is the sixth largest country in the world by land area. But what makes this nation so unique is not just its size, but the fact that the vast majority of its expanse remains untouched by modern civilization. Let's dive into the numbers, but don't worry, we'll keep things simple and fascinating. Australia has a total area of about 7.7 million square kilometers. To put this in perspective, it is almost the size of the contiguous United States. However, while the US is home to over 330 million people, Australia has a population of just 25 million. This means there are approximately 3 Australians for every square kilometer of the country. Comparatively, in countries like the United Kingdom, this number reaches to 175 people per square kilometer. But why this stark disparity? What keeps 95% of this continent country so empty? The answer, as you might suspect, is not simple. It is a complex web of geographic, historical, and even mystical factors that make Australia one of the most intriguing places on the planet. Let's start with the obvious: the climate. Much of the Australian interior is dominated by the outback, an arid and semi-arid region that covers more than 70% of the country. Here, temperatures can easily exceed 40 degrees Celsius during the day, only to plummet drastically at night. Water scarcity is a constant issue, with some areas receiving less than 150 millimeters of rain per year. To put this in perspective, the Sahara, the largest hot desert in the world, receives an average of 100 millimeters of rain annually. But not all of Australia is desert. The country boasts a surprising diversity of ecosystems, from tropical rainforests in the north to snow-capped mountains in the south. However, even these more hospitable regions present unique challenges for human habitation. The Great Barrier Reef, for example, is a natural wonder stretching to 1,300 kilometers along Australia's northeast coast. While it is a paradise for marine life, it also acts as a natural barrier against large-scale coastal colonization. The areas around the reef are prone to tropical cyclones and flooding, making urban development a significant challenge. But what about history? How has Australia's past contributed to its current population distribution? This is where things get even more interesting. The indigenous peoples of Australia have inhabited the continent for at least 65,000 years, developing a deep spiritual and physical connection to the land. They learned to thrive in environments that many would consider uninhabitable, utilizing sophisticated land and water management techniques. However, European colonization, which began in the late 18th century, brought dramatic changes. The colonizers, primarily from Britain, initially settled along the coast, where the climate was milder and resources more abundant. As they ventured inland, they faced immense challenges. Many expeditions ended in tragedy, fueling legends and myths about the impenetrable heart of Australia. One such legend is that of the Dead Heart, a vast area in the center of the continent believed to be completely uninhabitable. Explorers like Charles Sturt spent years trying to uncover the secrets of the Australian interior, often returning with stories of near-fatal trials and alien landscapes. These narratives of danger and mystery helped shape the perception of Australia as a land of extremes, where only the bravest or most desperate would dare venture beyond the safe coastal areas. But not everything is about challenges and dangers. Australia is also a land of unique opportunities and unparalleled natural beauty. The country is home to some of the most surreal landscapes on the planet, such as Uluru, formerly known as Ayers Rock, a monolithic rock formation that rises abruptly from the flat desert surrounding it. This site is not only a geological wonder, but also a place of profound spiritual significance for indigenous peoples. Another fascinating phenomenon is Lake Hillier, a bright pink saltwater lake located on Middle Island off the coast of Western Australia. Its unique color is attributed to microorganisms living in its waters, creating a sight that seems out of this world. These natural wonders, while spectacular, also illustrate the challenges of living in the Australian interior. They are remote, often inaccessible, and surrounded by inhospitable terrain. However, It is precisely this inaccessibility that has preserved them in their pristine state. But what about the wildlife? Australia is famous for its unique fauna, and this also plays a role in the distribution of the human population. The country is home to some of the most venomous creatures in the world, including 10 of the deadliest snakes known to science. The redback spider, whose venom can cause intense pain for days, is common in both urban and rural areas. However, it's not just the small creatures that pose a challenge. Saltwater crocodiles, which can grow up to 6 meters in length, inhabit the waters of northern Australia. These formidable predators are known to attack humans and pose a real risk to coastal and riverside communities. Interestingly, some of Australia's most iconic animals, like kangaroos and koalas, do not pose significant threats to humans. However, their presence in large numbers can create unique challenges for urban and agricultural development. Speaking of agriculture, this is another crucial factor in understanding why much of Australia remains uninhabited. Despite its vast territory, only a small percentage of Australian land is suitable for intensive farming. The scarcity of fresh water and nutrient-poor soils make large-scale cultivation a significant challenge in many regions. However, where farming is possible, it tends to be on an impressive scale. Australia is home to some of the largest farms in the world, including Anna Creek Station, which covers an area larger than Israel. These huge stations, as they are called in Australia, are a response to the need for vast tracts of land to raise cattle in an environment where resources are scarce. But not everything in Australia is about challenges and emptiness. Australian cities are some of the most livable in the world. Sydney, with its iconic Opera House and Harbour Bridge, and Melbourne, known for its vibrant cultural scene, regularly top lists of the best cities to live in. These coastal metropolises are home to the majority of the Australian population, creating a stark contrast with the vast uninhabited interior. This phenomenon of population concentration on the coasts is not unique to Australia, but here it reaches extreme proportions. More than 85% of Australians live within 50 kilometers of the coast. This creates a country that is, at the same time, one of the most urbanized and one of the least densely populated in the world. This dichotomy between the densely populated coastline and the empty interior creates unique challenges for the country's development and governance. How to provide services and infrastructure to remote communities scattered across such a vast territory. How to manage and protect fragile ecosystems that cover areas larger than many countries. The answer to these challenges often comes in the form of innovation. Australia is a leader in renewable energy technologies, particularly solar, leveraging its most abundant resource, the sun. The country is also at the forefront of precision agriculture and sustainable water management, developing techniques that could be crucial for the future of food production in an increasingly hot and dry world. But perhaps the most fascinating aspect of the empty Australia is what it represents for the future. In an increasingly crowded and urbanized world, these vast empty spaces are a reminder of nature in its purest and wildest state. They are a natural laboratory for evolution, a refuge for species found nowhere else, and a testing ground for our ability to live in harmony with extreme environments. As we face global challenges such as climate change, biodiversity loss, and resource scarcity, Australia's experience of managing an entire continent with limited resources can offer valuable lessons for the rest of the world. Moreover, the emptiness of Australia is an invitation to imagination. It is one of the few places on Earth where we can still look to the horizon and see nothing. No sign of civilization, just the vastness of nature stretching as far as the eye can see. In an increasingly connected and known world, there is something deeply mysterious and attractive about these blank spaces on the map. And it is this mystery that continues to attract people from all over the world to Australia. Tourists, adventurers, scientists, and dreamers all come to experience this land of extreme contrasts. Some come for the beaches and cosmopolitan cities, others to venture into the outback and experience the almost supernatural silence of the desert. At the end of this journey through the enigma of empty Australia, we are left with more questions than answers. Will these vast spaces remain empty forever? How will climate change affect this delicate balance between the inhabited and the uninhabited? And what secrets are still hidden in the depths of the Australian outback? Australia is more than a country or a continent. It is a geographic paradox, an ongoing experiment on the limits of human habitability, and a reminder of the vastness and power of nature. It is a place where the ancient and the modern coexist, where the world's oldest traditions meet some of the newest innovations. While the rest of the world struggles with overpopulation and rampant development, Australia offers us an alternative vision, a place where empty space is not a deficiency, but a precious resource. A place that challenges us to rethink our relationship with the land and our place in it. So, the next time you look at a world map, take a moment to consider that large island continent in the lower right corner. Remember that, behind that apparent vast emptiness lies a rich history, a unique ecosystem, and a future full of possibilities. Australia may be 95% empty of people, but it is 100% full of mystery, beauty, and promise. And who knows? Maybe one day you'll venture to explore its secrets yourself. If you were fascinated by this journey through Australia and want to discover more about the mysteries and wonders of our planet, don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more videos like this. Together, we can continue to explore the world's most intriguing secrets, one continent at a time. Until the next adventure!